Hi guys, I'm making another video. First of all, I want to thank everybody for all the views I received on my last video, as well as the positive comments. I even got a couple thumbs up and subscriptions, which I wasn't expecting. I was pretty surprised, and I'm very thankful and appreciative for that. I want to thank everybody who sent me comments privately and publicly, saying how much they enjoyed the video. I appreciate it. I just want to reiterate that the primary reason I'm doing this, it's not so much for positive personal feedback or reinforcement, but it's my love of Transformers and this game in particular, and I'm hoping that my appreciation for the Transformers trading card game is so strong that it becomes infectious, and other people who are playing it will learn to or think about playing it a little more differently in a way that can make the game even more fun. With that being said, I went out and I made more cards. I know I mentioned I wanted to do Headmasters and Action Masters and Power Masters and Target Masters. I didn't get to any of that. Instead, I'm sorry to say, my mind was still on Pretenders. So I have some new ideas that I have not completed yet, but I want to do the Pretender Classics, Jazz, Bumblebee, Grimlock, and Starscream. I have ideas on how to make that happen. I didn't print them out yet or actually even work on them in my computer. But I did do, because of anticipation of Wave 2, which was supposed to be out Friday, and unfortunately, in my area, I went to Target and Walmart. I did not see any Wave 2 cards released yet. But because of Rise of the Combiners and my mind still being on Pretenders, I was motivated to make the Pretender Monsters, which merge into Monstructor. So, I'm going to go sort of in alphabetical order, but not exactly, and I'm going to show you what I've got so far. So, Ice Pick online, from what I understand, the Pretender Monsters never had an official leader, and the consensus online is that Ice Pick was the leader simply because he had the highest rank. So, just because a lot of fans thought that way, I figured I'd kind of follow that logic. So we're starting with Ice Pick, and here is Ice Pick. And as you see, like I said in my last video, when I do these, I want to keep their original function from their tech spec. So Ice Pick's official function from his tech spec was that he was in Demolitions. But because of the fans online believing he was the leader due to his rank, I gave him the leader designation out of this team. And I know the printing is kind of small. Like, I'm not a professional. This is the best I can do. But here it says he's a Pretender Monster and a melee. Quick stats. Because he's, quote unquote, the leader, I gave him the best stats out of the group. So in bot mode, he is attack 3, health 8, defense 2. And pretty much it is the same universal triggered ability here. I put on both sides for all these monster pretenders. And it states, when flipping this card, while it has 4 or more damage, you may flip to shell. So I went over this with my last video with the pretenders, and I pretty much said, when they get to a certain level of damage, I want at that point the ability to go to the shell to happen. So it's the same thing on this side. Here's his alt mode. I probably should have shown this first, because when you play the game, it's always alt first. He's 4 stars. It's a 6-man team. So I took inspiration from the Constructicon Wave 2 set. 6-man team. Leader gets 5 stars. All remaining characters get 4 stars. That gives you a 25-star set. Maxed out. Full team. Here, 3 attack and bot. 2 defense. 1 defense in alt, 2 attack. See that? So, let's just show you what happens if you get that attack going and the damage is there. There is, just get this in here. There is his shell, and he's got better stats in shell. And it says 4 attack, 3 defense, and I gave him a triggered ability of Bold 2 in his shell. Now, in the last set, for the Mega Pretender I did, Thunderwing, and the regular Pretender Bludgeon, I designed it for those 2 characters because they were like really, really good stats to be like a one-shot deal. Once you did an attack with that Pretender shell, it dictated that you had to return to either alt mode or bot mode. I didn't do that for these Pretender monsters because generally I gave these guys very low stats. So I want you to have to work towards getting to the shell, but once having the shell mode out, I wanted the player to have the liberty of keeping the shell, flipping back to alt mode or bot mode when available to, and if their damage still allows it, to be able to flip back to the shell without a problem. So anyway, that's Ice Pick. We went bot, alt, shell. Okay, now we're going to sort of go alphabetically. So we'll start with the alt. Here's Bird Brain. Now, as you see, he's 4 stars. Everybody going forward is going to be 4 stars. He has the same triggered ability statement, but the numbers are a little different because he has a 7 health. They all have 7 health except for Ice Pick because I gave him the leader status. So he's got 1 more. He's 8. And he was at 8 health, and it's stated on here that when he had 4 or more damage, because he has only 7 health, I said that when flipping to this card, while it has 3 or more damage, you may flip to shell. So it doesn't take as much damage, but once you're at 3, you're at 4 health. He's got 8 health. After the 4 damage, he's at 4 health. The magic number for the set is having a remainder of 4 health to be able to get to shell. So here's Bird Brain, Aerial Attack Trooper. They're all melees. I didn't want to go crazy. Aerial Attack Trooper, there's his bot. Identical text, identical text. Now, let's just get to his shell so you can see. I took all these images pretty much from the Dreamwave. Oh, sorry, guys. More Than Meets the Eye, which, you know, I really like that a lot. All right, there we go. All right, so his stats, 3 attack, 3 defense. He gets Pierce 2. With the images, I went with, you know, what their shell kind of like evoked out of me. So, you know, he's got a beak. It's kind of shelly. I know his name is Ice Pick and he kind of has sharp arms, but I was doing a lot of pierces with these guys, so I wanted to be a little different. So at any rate, I gave him Bold 2. Next, we're going to do Bristleback, Ground Assault. Exact same thing that you just saw in Bird Brain. Same stats, same health, same stars. Same triggered ability. When flipping to this card, while it has 3 or more damage, you may flip to shell. So at any point, once he gets damaged enough, you can flip to shell. Here's his bot. All right, let's take a look at his shell. There's the shell. So he gets an attack of 3, defense of 3. That's pretty much the same thing with all these Pretender monsters, except for Ice Pick, because he's the leader. He gets a little more. He gets the attack of 4. So once they get to shell mode, they're a little bit augmented. If you were to use a certain card to heal them and they get above that threshold, like, you know, if you use Medic, that gives you repair 2 health. And if you were right at 4, or if you're at 3 and then you used Medic and that 3 got you to 5, you wouldn't be able to, you know, get to your Pretender shell. I mean, that's the way the rules are, and that's the numbers I chose, so that's just food for thought. Okay, here's Scowl, Sonic Saboteur. Same stats. Here's his ult, 2-in-1 attack. 2-in-2 bot. Oh, get that in there. Alrighty. There's his shell. 3 attack, 3 defense. He gets Pierce 2. Okay. Here's Slog. Combat Artist. 2 attack, 1 defense. All 4 stars. 2 attack, 2 defense, and bot. Oh, sorry guys. You gotta get to his shell. Oh. Okay, there's Slug's shell. Gave him a Pierce 2. Cool. Okay. So, finally for characters, here we have Wildfly, Aerial Assault. All the same stats. 4 stars, 2 attack, 1 defense and ult, 7 health. Same triggered abilities. You know, when 3 or more damage, yada yada. He gets to go to shell. Oh, here's his bot mode. 2 attack, 2 defense. Okay. Let's look at his shell. Alrighty. Alright. So I gave him a tough 2. Again, I got a thing about, being aerial, because a lot of planes have certain abilities of getting, like, missed attacks, I want to say, in Wave 1. They're, like, certain plane defense cards. I guess because they're in the air, they're harder to hit, is the logic. So anybody that flies, like I did with the cassettes, the Condors, I said, well, they fly, so maybe they have a better defense. I gave them a tough 2 or a tough 1, I think it was. Well, Wildfly, he flies, so I gave him a tough 2 in his shell mode. 3 attack, 3 defense. Okay, cool. So, if you've been keeping up on the news, watching all the videos of Wave 2 and the combiner sets, you're aware there's pretty much only one way to get a combiner going, with the exception of Darkwing and Dreadwind, Blackwing and Dreadwind, whatever you want to call them. And that was the exception that I made different with Slam Dance and Squawk Box. You didn't need this, but with all the other combiner card teams in Wave 2, you need an Enigma card. So I made my own little Enigma card. I know it's not too pretty, but, I'm not a professional. So it says here, Pretender Monster Enigma. There's the little black silhouette of Monstructor. So let's see if we can read this here. Sorry if the lighting is bad. Okay, if you have Monstructor on the battlefield, he gets Pierce 3 until the end of turn. So as an action card, you need the Enigma to make your combiner, but if you've already made your combiner and you get your Enigma again, it still has functionality. So let's say we merged, and he's on the field, and we get this again, boom, he gets Pierce 3 until the end of turn. But if you don't have him out, it says here, if you have all 6 Pretender monsters in bot or shell mode on the battlefield and or in your KO area, combine them into Monstructor Super Warrior. A combiner begins untapped and has all damage from combined characters and keeps 1 upgrade in each slot. I pretty much kept that as identical to all the Enigma cards that have been released online. So this is kind of in line with all the other Enigma cards. So if you have all the characters in bot mode on the battlefield or in the KO area, you can merge them. That's all the Enigma cards. I felt like saying, if you have it in either bot or shell mode for this team, then you're going to be allowed to combine them. I'll stick with, you can't have them in ult, but it's a little too hard to keep track of with these guys with multiple modes. So I equated shell with bot mode. As long as you've got one or the other, and wherever they are, dead or alive, this card, this Enigma card, will trigger them, and then bam, you will be able to form Monstructor Super Warrior. So the way I did this, I just printed this on regular paper. I put in this little protector, and then, just give you an idea what I was thinking. I have so many armored platings. So the armor plating stays in there, so it's weighted the same way as all the other cards. As long as the entire deck is in the sleeve, when you shuffle, you'll really never know where this appears, and it really will be as random as possible. So, okay, let's make Monstructor here. See if I can do this. It may not look pretty, guys. Like I said, I'm not a professional. I kind of winged it. Tried to line it up. Don't know how well I did. All right. There's that. There's that. There's sort of that. Okay. And there it is. Monstructor Super Warrior. And he has a Pierce 3. And if you got the Enigma card, that's his triggered ability, period. This guy gets Pierce 3. I gave his Enigma card that stated if you played it while he was combined, that he still gets Pierce 3 till the end of turn. You play this Enigma card with the fact that he has Pierce 3, Pierce 6. You get Crushing Size Utility on this guy, that's another Pierce. I forget what weapons. There might be a weapon that you could put in his weapon slot. And with that weapon slot, you can augment his Pierce even more, probably. And I'm sure there's other action cards that just randomly give the character more Pierce. So you'd say, oh, but you can only play one action per turn. If you have Brainstorm, you can do 2 actions after Brainstorm. So if you have this in your hand with Brainstorm and another piercing action and Crushing Size Utility on here, with the fact that he has Pierce 3 to go, bang, forget it. We're talking a lot of Pierce. So all the combiners have all the health of all their components plus 1. So we have 5 7s in here. That's what, 35. The one guy was 8, Ice Pick. So that's 43 plus 1 gets you to 44 health. I gave him a 6 attack and a 2 defense. And he's 25 stars. Well, that is Monstructor Super Warrior and Pretender Monster. It's very, 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 very small. I don't know if you could see that. He's a melee, by the way. He may not look that good and, laid out here together or look as professionally done as how Wizards of the Coast is going to make their combiners look. But, I'm happy. It's for fun. It's for me and my friends. Monstructor is cool. He was the last official combiner in the original G1 toy line. In the US anyway, I'm sorry. Get specific. So Monstructor deserves a lot of love. Maybe if they're doing more combiners in Wave 3, there'll be a Monstructor set. I don't know. But now that I've made my Monstructor set, I'm pretty satisfied. And I have the Enigma card, so that's going to make the deck a little more fun. I hope that everybody enjoyed this video. And again, if you love Transformers, if you love the Transformers card game, I hope this is inspiring you to think outside the box, do fun, wacky things with the game so you can enjoy it even more. But, kind of confine yourself to the rules so that, you can't just do whatever you want. I'm trying to confine myself within the rules of the game as much as possible. So that's why I made the Enigma card. I didn't want to just be able to say, oh, I'll make Monstructor whenever I feel like it. There are rules, so I want to stick to the structure. That's it. It's a little shorter than the last video. If you watched it to the end, again, I thank you very much. I'm not trying to discourage people from sharing their appreciation if they like my videos. That's really wonderful. But I'm not doing this for likes or subscribes. I'm not looking this for clicks or views. I'm not doing this for that. I just want people who love Transformers, who loves this game, to watch the video, say, oh, wow, that's a great idea. I'm going to do something like that, and then, go have at it. So if you watched it, enjoyed it, awesome. Go play the game. Think about some fun stuff you can do with it. And I do plan still on making more cards, so I think I'm going to do the Pretender Classics next and then start working on all the master characters. So I don't know when that'll be, in a week, couple weeks, I don't know, half a week, I don't know. But when I do, I will put out another video. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.